Yeah, we have. We've made a decision, but I'm not going to announce it publicly. And again, this is for the certainly. I think everybody here wants to know who the quarterback is. I get that, but I think it's a tactical advantage for us not to announce it. So I'm going to hold that announcement because I think it gives us a tactical advantage for not playing.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, as always, joined by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy, here from Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. A great place to come catch some barbecue and check out some LSU games. That's right, Bud Man. It's game week. Finally, the time has come for LSU to start the Brian Kelly era. LSU will face the Florida State Seminoles in New Orleans, the Caesars Superdome, Sunday night. Bud Man, it is going to be exciting. Coach Kelly had a press conference on Monday, had a lot to say. We'll have that for you here on Tigers Roar. But there you see the All-State Louisiana kickoff Sunday, September 4th, Caesars Superdome, 6:30. Or you could watch it on ABC. Bud Man, the French Quarter is going to be popping. And with that, I welcome in Mr. Buddy Songy. Good to see you, Bud Man.
Good to see you, JP. Good to see everybody else as we hope all of you are doing well, wrapping up your Sunday. Fifth time that LSU has ever played on Sunday. And as we know, winning national championships in the Superdome is commonplace, but this is the opener. Last time they opened up a regular season game in the Superdome, 27-0 shutout with BYU. Of course, that game had to be moved because of the tropical storms and the hurricanes and all of the weather issues that we deal with. Good to be back. I hope all of you are ready for another season of Tigers Roar, and we concentrate on three basic teams over here, JP. LSU, Southern, and the Jags, all three with new coaches. Eric Dooley, really impressive for you Jag fans. You got to love the future with Southern, and how cool is that going to be as we talk about LSU and Southern in Tiger Stadium, first time ever. Going to be a historic week and night and game. And then, as you know, Brian Kelly in year one and Dennis Allen in year one, even though he did have an interim game last year when Coach Payton had COVID and led the Saints to a 9-0 shutout at Tampa Bay. But a lot of people, JP, have had this misnomer, in my opinion. Forget UCLA and the sissy blue shirts. Nothing is the same. I mean nothing. Brad Davis is back as an offensive line coach. This team has been rebuilt. They had about 40 scholarship players when Brian Kelly and those guys prepared for the bowl game. They're right around 73 or 74 right now, so not a full complement of the 85. We've talked about it at length. Having a new rule change with unlimited scholarships in 1 year, as long as you don't exceed 85, will help the rebuild. But I am as excited as can be. I haven't been this excited for an LSU opener since 2019, and I got a new name for this LSU team this year that I'm going to throw at you, and it's called Second Chance U.
I like it.
Jarek Bernard Converse, Second Chance. Mackay, Wingo, and Gardner, second chance. Jaden Daniels, second chance. Miles Frazier and Tremont Sharts, second chance. Obviously, Joe Fouché, Greg Brooks, second chance. Folks, this is going to be fun to see what this product looks like. And you were saying before the game, you think anything that's better than 8-4. I'm picking 8-4, 9-4 if you win the game. But this is going to be a fun ride. And as always, JP, we appreciate the fans out there who tune in, watch all of our shows, and patronize our great restaurant sponsors. Come get some barbecue because LSU is going to take Florida State out back and barbecue the Seminoles come Sunday night in the second half.
Of course, we'll have a lot more LSU football talk. We'll also talk to Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com, get his take on all the jamborees that happened over the weekend, talk to him about recruiting week 1 for the LSU Tigers and a whole lot more. And, of course, we'll talk some NFL, some New Orleans Saints, September 11, week 1 in Atlanta. The Saints take on the Falcons. A new look for the Falcons, new quarterback, new offense. Same for the Saints. Jameis Winston going into Atlanta once again as the Saints starting quarterback. We'll have some highlights from that Chargers game, week 3 of the preseason. The Saints really put it on the Chargers in the Superdome. It was good to see the Saints back in front of the Who Dat Nation. We'll have that and a whole lot more. Before we take our first break, we'll remind you guys, check us out on YouTube. Like the page while you're there, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. A great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. All of your Tigers Roar are there archived for your viewing pleasure. So go on YouTube. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting and check it out. Come back after this break. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
continue here on Tigers Roar. LSU football beginning the Brian Kelly era after coming off a 6-7 season, the first losing season since 1999. But, man, that's not a good mark, but it's a totally new staff, except for Brad Davis, a new situation for the Tigers. Coach Brian Kelly, so organized. His press conferences, they always kind of blow me away, the way he's able to articulate so efficiently, the process for LSU, where they're going, how they're going to get there, who's he taking along with them. He's got it all written out, very organized, and he does a good job answering all the questions that the reporters give him. We're going to hear from Brian Kelly a little bit later on in this program, but Budman, going into this season for the third straight year, LSU's got a new quarterback. It's going to be either Jaden Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier. It's not going to be Max Johnson. It's not going to be Miles Brennan. So for the third year in a row, a new quarterback under center. They got that center. The coach called it the linchpin. Once they figured out that center spot on the offensive line, they kind of everything else fell in place. So at least the offensive line is kind of set for now with the best rotation to give the Tigers the best chance to move the ball up and down the field and score. But there's still a question mark there at the offensive line. But, man, that's the most unproven group to me.
Absolutely, folks. You have to be cognizant of the fact that, as JP so eloquently said, you're talking about pretty much a complete O-line overhaul other than Cam Wire, all reliable. So Will Campbell, big number 66, true freshman at left tackle, going to be a phenomenal player, but he's going to take his lumps from time to time. Miles Frazier is going to start at left guard, big guy from FIU. Of course, Garrett Dellinger. Once Garrett Dellinger got the center snaps down, they had some trouble earlier. Once he got that down, he solidified the center spot at about 315. And then, of course, Anthony Bradford. They moved the big fella from right tackle inside to right guard. That means Cam Wire at right tackle. Tremont Shorts is another guy that's been in the mix and will play a lot. Taylor and Taylor, the law firm, Taylor and Taylor. Not Taylor Porter, but Taylor and Taylor at tight end. Cole Taylor, 86. And, of course, Jason Taylor's son, Mason Taylor, has been very impressive. Yep. I've got a prediction that he's going to score a touchdown in the first couple of weeks. Obviously, wide receivers galore. Butte, do you cover and double cover Kayshon Boutte? We like to say Butte. Right. It falls off the tongue, but he's been in these Gordon McKernan NIL ads, he's been saying booty. Yep. So we all understand about booty. There's going to be a lot of people shaking that booty in the Superdome Sunday night after 9 o'clock when LSU puts the foot down on their neck. That all being said, Malik Neighbors, Jack Besh, Jeray Jenkins, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Hilton, Kyron Lacey, 7 excellent receivers. Yep. And they're all going to play. And that means they're going to stay happy, there's going to be chemistry, and they will stay fresh. Running back by committee, most people know John Emery is suspended for the first couple of games. It's more to do about hours towards his degree than it is GPA. So Noah Kane, Armani Goodwin, Josh Williams, and would not shock us to see 35, Nick Demas. Demas is a guy that gets some reps in camp. Brian Kelly likes to play a lot of running backs. Yep. And then you go to the defensive front. Everybody's familiar with Ali Gay, B.J. Ojolari on the outside, Jaquelin Roy nose guard, and Mason Smith, big number 0. We're having fun, JP. Who gets the first sack? Who gets the first tackle for loss? Who gets the first touchdown? You mentioned Jaden Daniels. What was your opinion? And did it throw you for a curveball when Coach Kelly confidently stood up there and said, we've made a decision at quarterback, but oh, by the way, we're not going to announce it publicly. And I don't know if that happens right before game time or when or whatever. Yeah. But what was your impressions when he handled that question that way?
Well, I thought he handled it exactly right. You don't give away a tactical advantage to your opponent. I mean, Florida State has already had their first game of the season. This isn't the season opener for Florida State. They already beat Duquesne by 40 points in week 0. I don't know if you like to call it week 0, but that's the, nomenclature.
Because of the opening weekend is the 0.
I get it. I get it. So anyway.
And now this is week 1 for those ladies that are going, wait a minute. I thought last week was week 1.
Right. So week 1, LSU, Florida State. Florida State has the advantage of, they already got the play. They already kind of know what system they're going to do, what plays work, what doesn't, what kind of fits their players. LSU's kind of just figuring it out in real time. But the one advantage they do have is there's no tape on any quarterback for LSU. There is no tactical advantage in telling your opponent who's going to play before you absolutely have to. So, If you ask me my opinion, who I think is going to start, just in my humble opinion, I think it's going to be Daniels, just because we already talked about that offensive line and how that is a big question. And Daniels can elude some pressure. I mean, that guy can get out the pocket if need be. So I give the early nod to Daniels. Not to say that Nussmeier can't avoid pressure. That kid can move too, but Daniels is a special runner. So if things break down, I think he can make a little more excitement happen with his feet. But to answer your original question, again, 32 years of experience with Brian Kelly, he always kind of knows what to say.
Well, there's really no advantage of telling them who your quarterback is going to be. And when he said 1A and 1B instead of 1 and 2, I think most people have locked in to the fact that they're probably both going to play in this game. And Jaden Daniels has started 29 football games, folks. 30 games at Arizona State, started every one but one. We talked about 32 passing touchdowns with 13 INTs. We talked about 13 rushing touchdowns. We talk about a lot of pressure on the defense in the RPO. Yep. And my gut feeling is that Daniels will start, but at some point, Garrett Nussmeier is going to come in this game, and they're going to go hurry up, no huddle, and they're going to dink and dunk. They're going to throw to Mason Taylor and Cole Taylor. They're going to throw the backs out the backfield. They're going to have the jailbreak screen. They're going to have all these stuff, and we think it's going to be a combination of smash mouth, go in a hurry, and if LSU can get the ball into the hands of the playmakers,
that's it.
Then you're going to see LSU look pretty good. Now, we just talked about it. New quarterback, there's going to be some nerves, even though he's the more experienced of the two. And then the second thing, Garrett Dellinger, they like his IQ, his football IQ. Big, strong guy from the Midwest, but he's never set a center snap under pressure. So if they miss a PAT or a field goal that you're expecting to make this year, relax. If you see a bad center snap or two this year, relax. On defense, JP, got to do a better job of taking away the football. Only 13 takeaways, 8 INTs, and 5 fumbles recovered. I'm telling you on this night, oh, by the way, it is August the 30th, and that means happy birthday to Miles Joseph Babin, who turned 16 today. Oh, by the way, we got a good buddy of ours in the truck, Alan Traylor, who had a birthday yesterday.
Don't say what date it is. He doesn't like
to
share.
I don't talk about weight and age on this show or ever, but all those people celebrating birthdays, it's going to go all the way into Sunday night, and you can party because Monday is Labor Day, and people will have the day off. But what we're trying to say here is that there's a lot of potential, but you're going to have to give this team a little time to get acclimated. You got new coaches that have never called a game before. You've got some on the headset, some downstairs. All of this, it takes a while to get acclimated, but I do think they've got a lot more talent than Florida State. But you got to respect the Seminoles because they are very hungry.
No, I agree that I think the LSU roster does have a lot more talent than the Florida State roster. But Mike Norvell has done a good job turning that program completely around. Completely disorganized, undisciplined, sloppy would be a good word to describe their play before he got there. It's taken some time, but he's got his guys in place. They do have some athletes. Yeah, they put on 40 points on Duquesne. 400 rushing yards, bud, man. I don't care who you're playing. If you have 3 guys go over 100, 2 of them average 9 yards a carry, that's a very efficient, productive offensive output. The Tigers are going to have to take care of business. I think in the beginning of the game, with all the excitement that goes into it, you're going to see some guys flying around. Second half, I'm kind of with you. I think LSU, because of the process that Coach Bryant started December 1 when he met that media and told everybody it's going to take 100 guys buying in 100%. From the time they wake up, checking in on their meal apps, make sure they got the sleep they needed, everybody has to buy in from that day. But, man, that all accumulated into what's going to happen on Sunday. And I think LSU's going to breath of fresh air seeing that product on the field. A disciplined, physical, well-tuned, physically and mentally prepared to play this Florida State team.
Of course, most of you are aware because of what you've seen on all of your favorite LSU sports sites. We have had access like we have not had since 1999. I think everybody in the media appreciates Coach Kelly throwing a wishbone out there, letting us try to do our jobs a little bit better. Look, when he said scrimmages in the spring you can go to. I said, okay, well, we won't get that in the fall. Well, we did. Now, they only served up vanilla, and they didn't show enough to where you're going to have a trick play or two. I do think LSU will have a trick play or two on Sunday night. I also do think that it's going to take a while to get on the same page and get acclimated to each other. But Big Mason Smith, come on, LSU. Can you get this guy a Coke Zero NIL deal? Zero is going to be in that backfield all night long. And so is 99, 11, 18. And then a poor man's honey badger, Greg Brooks, number 3, similar size to Tyrann Mathieu, who's now playing with your favorite pro team, the Saints.
Right.
And you'll see Greg Brooks in the slot, blitzing, putting pressure. And so, look, kicking is going to be something that you've got to have a little patience. The best field goal kicker I've ever seen and the best kickoff guy I've ever seen, Cade York and Avery Atkins, going to take a little while to finish that. Damian Ramos is a redshirt freshman. He was a walk-on and came over here a couple of years ago. He looks to be the PAT and field goal guy, and they have not decided between the grad transfer from Northwestern or obviously Trey Finnison or Nathan Dybert. So it's not going to be perfect that first game, but they're going to be in better shape. They're going to play faster. They're going to be more organized. And you know, invariably, before you get too sauced up and get shafossed, there's going to be some open receivers that they miss. But if they get better each week, I think that's what most fans want. They want to see a win. They want to see organization. I can tell you right now, no disrespect to Tommy Moffitt and all those guys, everything they do is chronicled. How many hours they sleep, taking their vitamins, what they eat, everything, how much contact they take. And this is a professional at the helm. And trust me when I tell you, this is not throwing something up against the wall and hoping it sticks.
Right. We're going to let you guys hear from Coach Brian Kelly right after this break. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
An exciting time. First
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
The Mazda CX-50. Confident on and off-road performance and intelligently designed utility inside and out.
The all-new Mazda CX-50 has arrived and is on sale right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Hey, welcome back to Tigers Roar. We come for you from Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. A great place to come watch some LSU football every Saturday. Well, Sunday this week, but you know what I mean. The week has been a little bit different for Coach Kelly. He gave his press conference on Monday, talked a little about game week, how it was mental Monday, attitude Tuesday. Wednesday is the long practice, so it's kind of the gritty day. Perfection on Thursday, focus on Friday. That all leads to success on Saturday. Bud, man,
I'm impressed.
thank you. I studied.
Hey,
That's
hey.
right. Preparation. That's what LSU has been doing since December under Brian Kelly, preparing for this matchup against Florida State, getting all the pieces in place. You talk about spring. You talk about fall. You talk about a recruiting class, a new coaching staff. Coach Brian Kelly had a lot to take care of. We'll talk about that a little bit more after you hear from head coach. Here is Brian Kelly on Tigers Roar.
An exciting time. First game, 32nd year for me in doing this. So, but first year here at LSU. So, really for me, taking an LSU football team into its first week of preparation for a game against a, really good Florida State team is, one that I think there's. Around the office, there's a heightened sense of excitement. Everybody is anticipating a great week. And, our preparation has been one where, certainly you want to see the culmination of your team come together and play outstanding football. So, this week will be, certainly with a Sunday game, will be a little bit different in terms of the days, but it'll be the same in terms of our process. Today is really kind of a day off for our guys. We treat this kind of like a Sunday. Tomorrow will be our mental Monday day, where it's a lot of, game planning, scouting reports, things of that nature. We'll team meet. We'll go over essentially how we should be thinking this week about our opponent, the awareness that we need to have about how we play the game. There's a lot of things going on the road for the first time, even though it is in New Orleans. We are, taking our team away from campus, how we handle ourselves in the dome, how not to be distracted in the first game, the importance of all of the traits that we talk about in an opener. Florida State's already had an opener. So they've already gone through that kind of routine. So we'll spend a lot of time talking about that tomorrow, and then we get into, our first day, which is, Wednesday, but it's an attitude Tuesday for us, coming with the right attitude, getting after it in a practice situation is probably our most physical day when we talk about our first padded practice day. Tuesday, our Wednesday, or again, moving forward in the week itself, the Thursday, is about, being gritty. You've got to really focus and refocus through that practice because it is, the longer of the practices. You want to make sure you get all of your preparation work in. Thursday, which would be Friday during the week, is about being perfect. Red zone situation, situational substitution, 3rd and long, 2-minute, all of those things take place on our Thursday, which again, we go into a helmet and shoulder pad situation. Practice is shorter. It's about an hour and 5 minutes. which leads us into our Friday, which is about focus. Focus Friday is a walkthrough situation for us. We'll do situational substitution again, but again, usually the first 20 plays of our scripted plays we're going through defensively, making sure that we've got all the right personnel, moving from nickel maybe to goal line, making sure that all of those things are done right on Friday, which is obviously Saturday. And then, we get into Sunday, and I like to work our team out on game day when it's a night game. So we'll go to the Dome. We'll work the guys out. We'll move them around. We'll work up a sweat in the morning. And, again, I don't like to keep the guys locked up in the hotel room all day when we have a night game. So, again, we'll go to the Dome, get the sense of the surroundings. So, again, we're not distracted and seeing the insides of the Dome for the first time. And, again, getting them moving. So we break the day up a little bit. Get back, we'll have lunch. They'll have some time off, pregame meal, and then ready to kick it off. So that's kind of an insight into the week. And then it's from there, successful Saturday. And then we'll assess everything on Monday and get right back to work because, as we know, it's a short week. So playing a team that I'm quite familiar with, opened up against Florida State last year. Know Mike very well. Mike Norvell's done a really outstanding job in developing this football team. They're a disciplined group now. It wasn't the same group that we saw a couple years ago. Last year they took us to overtime, the team that I coached last year. And, it's a team that has some talented players. Defensively, physicality at the defensive line position, athletes at the second level and in the backfield. And then from an offensive standpoint, it starts at the quarterback position. And Jordan Travis, I think he's certainly, from my perspective, a great competitor, can make things happen. People use dual threat quarterback. He can throw the football, he runs, he keeps plays alive for him. He didn't have to do a lot of that on Saturday, but he's led by a deep and talented receiving core. And then, what we saw on Saturday was rushing for 406 yards. So that certainly gets your attention. Any team that runs for 400 yards, regardless of who the competition. And Duquesne had, some nice wins last year. They beat a really good MAC team in Ohio last year. So this is a team that, has a good program. So it'll be a great opener for us, and one that we're excited about. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah. Since you were here in this room December 1st, meeting with us for the first time to now, how much have you gotten done that you want to get done? How ready are you? Do you always want more time?
Sure.
For an opener.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that stand out. One, I think our guys fully understand and have been actively engaged in our process, and I know you hear that all the time, and you look at it as maybe coach speak, but our process has really begun to take hold with our players. It's not for them. We're just throwing something against the wall and see what sticks. They know it's extremely intentional. Everything that we do, from checking their sleep patterns to what they put in their body to how we practice. And so that kind of total preparation, they understand that now. And so I feel really good about the fact that our team has understood and has really bought into the process of preparing themselves for this opener. There'll be other challenges along the way. We're going to have to stay in our zone. There's going to be some challenges and some ups and downs that we're going to have to handle. But I feel good about it based upon where we've come from since December.
Hey, Coach Brian Kelly, right here in the middle.
Yes, sir.
Last Tuesday, you said the competition between Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeyer was really close. You possibly will come to decision by the end of the week and maybe Monday.
Yes.
Do you have an update on the quarterback battle?
Yeah, we have. We've made a decision, but I'm not going to announce it publicly. And again, this is for the Certainly, I think everybody here wants to know who the quarterback is. I get that, but I think it's a tactical advantage for us not to announce it. So I'm going to hold that announcement because I think it gives us a tactical advantage for not playing. Look, Florida State played a game. That's an advantage for them, having the opportunity to play. The advantage for us is that we haven't played. And so it doesn't help us to give up any of our cards in that sense. So we're going to hold on to that card until game day.
Brian Wilson, Alexander from The Advocate. The status of John Emery at this point, is he going to miss the first two games? Is there any change in that?
Yeah, so I've spoken on this before, and that, John's done everything that would allow him to be in good standing in the football program, but, I have things that are out of my control as it relates to who I can play, and that's not something I can comment on.
Coach Andre Champagne, KLSU. What do you think the key is going to be to stop Jordan Travis's run game?
The key will be, obviously, playing great defense at all three levels, right? We just talked about their ability to run the football. If you can run the football that effectively, Jordan Travis can have a field day out there. So we've got to be able to stop the run, first of all, and be effectively, stopping the run. I think that is going to limit Jordan Travis, and if we can force him to be predictable throwing the football, that's going to help us a lot. As it relates to him in particular, he's a guy that you obviously want to box the edges with. You want to keep him inside the pocket. Once he gets outside the edge of your defense, he's extremely elusive, and he can create havoc. So I think from a defensive game plan, it's pretty clear that we've got to do a really good job against the run, which makes him predictable within the offensive structure. And then individually himself, we've got to keep him inside the pocket.
Coach, over here, on Saturday we saw Malik Neighbors was dressed out but not doing any drills. What is his status?
Yeah, he should be good. I think today is another recovery day. I would believe that probably tomorrow he'll begin drill work. We'll be in a light drill work. But when we get into our normal routine of practice, he'll be cleared to practice. He had an ankle sprain.
Coach, right up the middle.
Yes, sir.
You said something about last week about not deciding on the quarterback, unsettling the offensive line. But both quarterbacks are similar, I would assume, in their preparation and your play calling. Is
Yes.
that an advantage in that we're not really splitting much up?
Yeah, there's some great similarities between the two of them in terms of what they're able to do. They both run extremely well. They both can make plays outside the pocket, and certainly we don't have to change the play calling. There's not a dramatic difference between the two when it comes to play calling. So you can imagine that, when we're talking about both quarterbacks, this is a 1A and 1B. This is not a 1 and a 2. And both of them, obviously are going to contribute this year.
Coach, are you comfortable naming Damian Ramos as your starting kicker or handling field goals, and then who will be handling kickoffs?
Yeah, I think Damian Ramos is going to start at the field goal position and extra point. And I think we're still in the process of making a decision on kickoffs. It's extremely competitive there. We feel like that decision is probably going to be made here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
That was head coach Brian Kelly. His game week press conference, Florida Florida State, is coming to New Orleans to face LSU Tigers in the Caesars Superdome Sunday night. You heard Coach Brian Kelly talk about the quarterbacks, 1A and 1B. This isn't a 1 and 2 situation. Both guys could run pretty much the same playbook. It won't be a dramatic change when one guy gets taken out for the other. So, Bud, man, it's a good problem to have when you have two guys that you have faith can lead you to a win on a football game.
The biggest problem when you're trying to play two quarterbacks in a single game is when do you put the second guy in? We talked about this on the radio show today. If Jaden Daniels leads LSU to a couple touchdowns or a couple field goals and having success and momentum, you want to let him continue. Right. On the other hand, the days of Tommy Hodson and Mickey Guidry, they had a set pattern on when Mickey was going to come in. So none of us know for sure how this thing is going to unfold. I'll just tell you this about Jaden Daniels. Many of you old-timers might remember Carl Otis Trimble. Unfortunately, he tragically died with drowning years ago, but this guy was a very fast quarterback. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback as fast as Jaden Daniels at quarterback for LSU when he takes off and goes north-south.
Right.
Does he need footwork? Absolutely. They've been working 3-4 months on that. Does he need to be on the same page with his receivers? Absolutely. Does he need to deliver the ball when Booty and Besh and Neighbors and all these other guys are putting it, hey, I'm open, throw it to me.
Yep.
He throws a good deep ball, got to work on the intermittent pass, but, man, the pressure you put on that edge with RPO. Nussmeier, as most people know, came into the Arkansas game and had his moments, but he's never started a game. This is what most people are assuming. Jaden Daniels will get the start. Nuss throws a pretty ball. He's a fiery competitor. He loves LSU. So 1A and 1B, but none of us know, and I don't even think they know at this point, how that quarterback rotation will be. Look, there's other places that there's going to be some rotation. At corner, at safety, at linebacker, at D-line. So have your program ready. Have your name and numbers ready. A lot of dual numbers. You see number 2 running. If it's defense, it's Mackay. If it's offense, it's Karen Lacey.
Yep.
Same thing with 5. Today, we're 5 days away. Jaden Daniels is 5 on offense. Jay Ward, 5 on defense. So get ready, because there's nothing more embarrassing than a guy who's watching the LSU game with his kids or his wife,
right.
and he's running for a touchdown, and she's screaming, baby, he's going to score. Who is that? And you go, I don't know. So get ready, because Second Chance U, LSU, and a lot of new names, and this is the fun part about the anticipation. We always give analogy with football and sports and food. And so you might cook jambalaya or gumbo or casseroles differently than I cook. But we know you got to have the Manda sausage. And you know you got to have the seasoning. You got to have the onions, all the bell pepper, everything in there. This is a potpourri of a lot of ingredients. How quickly will that pot of jambalaya, is it good enough to win in Gonzales?
Yeah.
Or is it going to take 2 or 3 weeks to fine-tune? And we know one thing. Don't burn the bottom of the pot, JP. Don't be yapping on your phone and let the bottom burn. So it's going to be fun to see how Kelly acts, how his coaches react to each other, and how this cast of characters with a big, big pot of jambalaya, gumbo, whatever, how can they get that to come out and taste like we love in South Louisiana?
Well, Bud, man, that was a great analogy. The only thing I'll add to the situation with the quarterbacks is kind of like with the Saints. The quarterback doesn't have to be great. There's playmakers all over the field to help that quarterback succeed. All he has to do is manage his position, do his job, and the offense is going to have some success. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk to Mike Scarborough. We come back. TigerBait.com. You don't want to miss it. We always have a good time with Mike. You are watching Tigers Roar.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me taste the feeling.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road, Gonzales.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
And we welcome you back. We are taping on a Tuesday evening. For those of you who are acclimated to South Louisiana, we do have showers in and out of the area, so certainly be careful as we know these downpours. JP, you'll deal with that driving home. We'll deal with that. But speaking of driving, this man has been going to high school games. He's been going to LSU practice. And once again, saw some early Jamboree action last week. Honored and, as always, happy to have Mike Scarborough with TigerBait.com on our show on Tigers Roar. Long time since we've talked to you on TV, Mike. So happy Tuesday, and let's let you make some opening comments about what you think LSU is, what you most excited about, and obviously where recruiting stands is JP, a big one going down on Thursday in Mr. Hurd, 8 o'clock Thursday morning. So, Mike, happy to have you on, and what's shaking in your world?
Glad game week's here. It's, you know, we get to the last few weeks of August, and it's analysis paralysis, and you're ready to see some football finally kicked off. And, you know, we've got a job to do to talk about it, but I think something that we noticed and other people were picking up on late was just how unbelievably lucky or good karma or being in great shape, whatever you want to say it. Coach Kelly was asked about it yesterday. For them to come out of August camp with so few injuries, I've never. This might be the best we've seen in many years. I can't recall a August camp that had so few injuries or guys nicked up for the first game.
Walk-on running back Corin Norman has been out, ruled out for the year with the ACL. Seven Banks still a little tweaked. Demarius McGee a little tweaked. Jack Besh is back healthy. All these other guys coming rounded into shape. JP, like Mike said, is it conditioning? Is it nutrition? Right. Is it chronicling and looking at every little thing, every little minute detail. And let's be honest, Mike, we've talked about this. It's about time LSU got a little break with the karma, because that injury bug has been over Baton Rouge and specifically all of our teams around here, Saints, Jags, and LSU, for about 2 years. So it's about time they got a little break with the injuries. But, yes, I agree with Mike. Corin Norman, the only one. Everybody else seems to be full go, JP.
No, it's been fortunate for Coach Brian Kelly. Somebody asked him, is this the most fortunate you've been outside of a camp with only the couple of soft tissue injuries? And look, Coach Brian Kelly certainly thinks it's a combination of all three, right? The nutrition, the medical staff, and the strength and conditioning. LSU has been unfortunate with injuries in the past. And look, Brian Kelly knows his team is very talented. He knew he had an unlimited amount of resources when he came to South Louisiana. But December 1st press conference, he said he needs everyone to 100% buy in to everything we're doing and know everything we're doing has an intention behind it. And I think that is where the biggest step up has been for LSU heading into week 1.
Mike, you in the room. Go ahead, Mike.
The hope is that you're not sitting there in the post game Sunday night saying, well, now we know why they weren't injured, because they obviously didn't do much tackling. And so, hopefully it didn't get turned around on them, but I don't know what it is. I'm just starting to think, while this one has looked to be a small point spread for most of the summer, and of course everybody gets guilty of this going into a season, but based on what I saw of Florida State on Saturday, I think LSU can win this by double digits.
Yeah, I agree with that. JP, we were talking about that. That is a very fine balance that every coach has to make, that concerted effort and difference. Now, I never have remembered, Mike and JP, a coach that didn't practice and gave them off the day they went to school on the first day. That was this past Monday on the 21st. So that was, 8 days ago. Took 2 days off. And, we used to ask a lot of these coaches, man, how tough is that? You're scrimmaging and everybody's got dead legs. Everything is done with a purpose.
Yep.
And, injuries are going to happen. But would you rather have a team that you don't know how well they're going to tackle in space, but it's going to be fast and you have everybody at your disposal? Or do you want to put them through those brutal camps with Les, with Jerry DiNardo, with Coach O, and they lay an egg because they're dead-legged? And so we'll see this philosophy. I'm gonna say Coach Kelly knows what he's doing with this prep. And Mike, you and I have talked about this. Jake Flint and the nutrition doctor and everybody else. There's a lot of credit to go around. But once again, we've still got to see what it looks like Sunday night.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that I'm starting to see a lot of movement too as the game's approaching. I mean, we already know it's a sellout, but I think as the days go by, as we head into the weekend, I think you're going to see the third-party market for the tickets for this game to increase. I think it's going to be get to be a tougher ticket as kickoff approaches.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are wanting to get down there and be a part of it, and a lot of people all of a sudden not realizing the last minute, man, I actually have the day off on Monday. So I think you're about to see a run of people all of a sudden trying to make plans to get down there.
Mike, Florida State already had a tune-up game. They beat Duquesne by 40. The House of the Blind. They showed a kid wearing suspenders almost on his football uniform. Barstool Sports had a tweet that went viral. Look, I don't expect Florida State to be able to run for 406 yards against LSU, but I kind of want to get your opinion. What are some stats that you're looking for to kind of like grade out that defense? Like, what's the success for this LSU defense to start?
Well, yeah, when you look at what their running backs did, you had Ward with 127, Benson with 105, Toffoli with 101. I mean, they did the job against Duquesne, and so. But when you watch what Jordan Travis did throwing the ball, certainly he was efficient, 11 for 15. But I don't know that, some of the deep balls that he had, you pulled two passes out of about 130 yards.
Yep.
And his numbers really weren't impressive at all. So, so it's up to this supposed, or what we bill as a stout LSU defensive front to stymie Florida State. Because if you stop their run, I just have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to beat you through the air. I mean, they had a couple of broken coverages on deep balls, but their short and intermediate passing game was nowhere.
Yeah. JP, what would you put on the over and under rush yards for Florida State?
Florida State, over under, I'd put it right at 125 against LSU.
Okay.
Do have three very talented running backs, and they do the split system. Coach Mike Norvell knows how to run the ball. Him and Coach Brian Kelly do have a relationship. This is a team that Coach Brian Kelly faced in the opener last year with that other team he used to coach.
Can you believe it?
I loved it.
Mike, I meant to ask you about that, JP. I'm glad you brought it up. He did not call Notre Dame out by name, that other team, a couple times. You know, as butthurt as the Notre Dame media and fan base are, and once again, a shout out to Boudreaux's butt paste. I went ahead and got 500 pounds of Boudreaux's butt paste shipped up to South Bend just in time for the game. But, Mike, we've seen it here in Baton Rouge. A lot of people needed Boudreaux's butt paste when Nick Saban came back into the SEC and has been at Alabama. What is it about Notre Dame and that fan base pulling so far against Brian Kelly? And then the cucks and the wackos on ESPN, including that Alabama guy talking about family and this accent. JP, if you don't think LSU's got a chip on their shoulder and people aren't pulling for against Brian Kelly at LSU, you haven't been watching it,
right.
But you noticed it too. He did not mention Notre Dame by name. You know he did that on purpose, JP.
Absolutely. I loved it. I mean, I felt great about it. You don't want to even speak their name. This isn't about them. This is about us. This is about LSU. I appreciate it, Coach Mike. Look, everything is so calculated, right? I mean, every answer is so calculated. And the process, I want to ask both of you guys about this. So December 1 was when Coach Brian Kelly kind of met the press and kind of laid out the process of what the next few months is going to be. I want y'all to kind of grade out an early grade before even the week 1 game against Florida State. How do you think Brian Kelly has handled this entire process between spring, fall, the recruiting class, the whole deal, getting the new staff, handled the transfers? It was a lot to deal with. Coach Brian Kelly ran it all the way down to the wire. Here we are, week 1 against Florida State. How do you think he did, Budman?
Well, let's let Mike go first on that one because I've got some interesting comments on that question. But, Mike, I'll give you hand off the ball, and let's see if you can take it to the house with your answer.
So you want me to grade him out? What you think my grade will be after the Florida State game in advance?
Grade right now from December 1 of 2021 to right now, August 30th. How has Brian Kelly handled the entire situation?
I think he's been absolutely an A-plus grade. He's been fantastic. The access he's given us, the access to his coordinators, the access to assistant coaches, it's unlike anything we've ever seen before. And I was a guy who was pretty spoiled rotten by Jerry DiNardo when it came to recruiting info and other coaches along the way, but nothing as an overall package in how he's dealt with the media for a while. Now, that's not to say at some point somebody locally is going to get in his crawl and you know, he's going to get set in his ways a bit and get comfortable and might pull some things back. I don't know.
Yep.
But I don't see him ever being that guy just because of how secure he is and who he is and how he and his tunnel vision for where he's going. I just think he's been unbelievable. And so and the whole, you guys brought up the old family and I swear to God, I'm a guy who notices what kind of wristwatch somebody is wearing. I notice everything. When he did that and I was watching it live, that did not register with me. I don't know anybody locally in Louisiana that noticed that he was talking with a southern afflection or whatever you call it. It's only the national guys that picked up on that, and they all look like fools because of it, because nobody down here is talking about it.
Right.
Well, I will add, look, you gave him the A+. I'm going to give him a solid A. And it's kind of interesting. You know, I gave Coach Miles a watch from Flavor Flav. You know that big clock
The chain.
that he had down there, and it told him how many timeouts he had and all that. Unfortunately, he didn't take it to game day, but he did have the Britney Spears microphone that first game against Arizona State and saying, "Where's my wife?" and "I'm not that innocent." That all being said, Rolex, okay? That's the kind of watch Brian Kelly wears. Everybody in the media said, this guy ought to have a press conference. Wrong. This guy ought to recruit the state when we want him to. He ought to be doing this. He ought to be doing this. He ought to name the quarterback. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Everything he's done has been on his watch and his Rolex. And I think, considering where he took over with about 40 scholarship players and this big hot mess that was LSU, playing a wimpy-ass Kansas State team and losing that game to them. God bless them when they play ever again on that Mulligan game. That being said, it has just been incredible to see all of the decisions, very meticulous, very structured, very organized. And here's the most important thing I think that we have to say. The culture was changed because it didn't matter if you were Keyshawn Booty or Dwight McLaughlin or John Emery or whoever. You drew a line in the sand and said you're either with me or you're going to be bye-bye. And I think everybody's bought in. Do we know what the product's going to look like Sunday night? No. Are they going to look better, in better shape, faster, better legs, the whole 9 yards? Yes. But let's all take a patience pill. I think potentially if this team gets better each and every week, which is all you ask, then this could be a really fun season. And that goes for both Southern, the Saints, and the Tigers this year.
There was a lot of talk about the fit. Now, this wasn't a good fit. You know, Brian Kelly was a Midwestern guy. How's he going to the SEC, South Louisiana, and recruit these players? I don't know if the national media knows this, but in South Louisiana, we take football pretty seriously. It's like a religion. If you win football games, you're serious about winning football games, you'll fit in just fine. And I think Brian Kelly has really hit his groove. Not worried about the family thing anymore. That's way in the rearview mirror. He's already been dancing with recruits with millions of views. I mean, he's blew that off. Brian Kelly, cool as a cucumber, heading into Florida State. Look, I said earlier in the program, every time he gives a press conference, you just get a breath of fresh air with the efficiency he is able to dictate the plan, the process, and who's buying into it with this LSU program. Mike gave A+, Buddy gave solid A. I'm going with Mike A+, not only because of the access, save the recruiting class, has LSU in a positive light, national media once again, heading in with high expectations, not only with the win-loss column, but where this program is heading, the caliber of student athlete that Brian Kelly is going to bring in to graduate champions. LSU in a good spot right now with their new head coach.
And you know, Mike, I think one of the things that Notre Dame people and the Midwest people resent is that Brian Kelly is living large and loving South Louisiana. The 3 F's, football, family, and food. And I think the guy is chronological 60. To me, he's acting 45 or 50. He wouldn't dance at Notre Dame. He wouldn't dance for a recruit. And oh, by the way, if you hadn't picked this up, he wanted Notre Dame to change the academic standards to get more talent in there and get more 5-stars. They held steadfast. That was one of the sticking points and why Scott Woodward was able to get him over here. Oh, by the way, how would you like to get a raise and go from $3 million to $10 million a year? Notre Dame was paying him $3 million. Now, there were a lot of other perks, and probably the total package was closer to 5 or 6. But still, to get a 10-year deal for $100 million, this is not about money. This is about a guy who's realizing, I jumped into the deep end of the swimming pool in the SEC West, but he is loving the opportunity. And look, 2 A+ and an A, that's still a pretty strong grade when we average out all 3 grades.
Yeah, he's
you got to believe it, Mike. He's loving being the LSU coach right now.
What's funny is this time last week, I said, well, we're going to find out that who the starting quarterback is exactly a week ago. And he comes out and says, no, I'm a day or two away. and then it didn't happen. And then we assumed it would have been yesterday. I had a story pre-written with a photo of Jaden Daniels at the top. Now, it was ready to go live as soon as his press conference started, because I just knew he'd probably walk right to the podium and say, Jaden Daniels is my starter. Okay? And then he says, no, it's a tactical advantage to us not to reveal it until kickoff. Well, could you imagine if Ed Orgeron would have done that, or maybe Les Miles? Like everybody just said, okay, that makes sense. He got no guff from that at all.
Yep.
But I will say this: I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, and it was Kelly and Sloan and Denbrock, and was maybe one of them like, yeah, go ahead and name them, or maybe the other two against naming them and talk Kelly into it to not name. I mean, there's some dynamics there as well. Don't kid yourself.
But there was no advantage for naming the starting quarterback, and everybody wants to know. And we'll find out. I guess, Mike. I don't necessarily think it'll be named until the first snap. Do you think that at this point there's no reason to let anybody know, even if it's an hour before the game, right?
I have a feeling it'll be a deal where as soon as the ABC comes on, they'll probably say, we've been told Jaden Daniels is getting the start, or Nussmeier's getting the start, and that's how it'll play out. Or it'll just be as soon as the offense runs out on the field, you'll see who it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Couple of minutes to wrap up, Mike. Let's talk about Hurd making his announcement on Thursday, and once again LSU recruiting. I got this question today. They're going to ask you tomorrow. Anybody wavering, or you expect all those verbal commitments to sign in December? And secondly, how many do they want to sign in December 15, early signing period, now that you have the unlimited scholars on a given year, as long as you do not exceed 85 in a total year?
I'm unaware of anybody wavering right now, and I'm told the number could be somewhere between 26 and 30.
Wow. Well, JP, look, this is a great thing about a rebuild, because you had 32 last year. Mike, real quick, let's have a little fun at the end, and then we'll let you promote. First touchdown, guys. I picked Jack Besh, a 12-yard reception. A lot of people picking Jaden Daniels, Booty. What you got, JP?
Kane.
First touchdown.
Noah Kane, running back. Going to go close to the goal line, going to punch it in.
Mike, who you got?
I agree. I'm going Noah Kane.
All right, and of course, if you like your neighbors and they're going to watch the ball game with you, have a cocktail when Malik Neighbors gets into the end zone. First sack, JP.
First sack's tough. Not to be mistaken for tackle for loss. I have a different answer for that question. First sack, I'm going B.J. Ojolari.
Mike?
DeQuillen Roy.
And I'm going with B.J. Ojolari. I do think that LSU, I will be surprised if 0 and 99. Don't sleep on Mekhi Wingo, folks. He's coming over from Missouri. He's one of those guys with low pad level. He's going to be a nemesis at the Florida State. Look, the two advantages I have in this game, LSU's D-line against their O-line, and them trying to cover those bevy of wide receivers. But JP and Mike, you still got to deliver the football in a timely fashion. You're going to see the jailbreak screen. You're going to see a bunch of dink and dunks. You're going to see the tight end catch some balls quickly. You're going to see the running backs out the backfield catch. Mike, if we could wrap up and, of course, give us your seasonal prediction and score in this game. But before you do that, tell everybody the advantage of joining Tiger Bait this football season.
Yeah, go to tigerbait.com. Subscribe. You can try us out for $1. If you're an LSU fan, it's where you want to be. We've got a growing community. I'm on our Tiger Den message board day and night answering your questions. And also our YouTube channel, which is growing. It's unbelievable, our growth. We're heading towards 14,000 YouTube subscribers. And LSU Tigers on Tiger Bait is our YouTube channel. Hit the subscription button and the notification bell there. I'm going 8-4 on the season, and I think LSU wins this one 31-14.
JP, what you got?
I'm going 9-4 on the season. I think LSU takes a lead into halftime and only expands on that. I'm going 38 to 16. LSU wins in the Superdome.
And I am going 8-4 in the regular season. You win the bowl game, you're 9-4, but I do think they start the season 4-0. Just a little forewarning, folks. LSU Southern in Game 2. We know that's going to be happening. LSU will have a short week, but a lot of build-up with the bands, the tailgating, and the fan bases. And the big first litmus test, in my opinion, LSU hosting Mississippi State, 5 o'clock on September 17th on ESPN. But, Mike, as always, great work. And, look, I'm going 9-4 with a bowl win. And in this particular game, I've got a very competitive first half, and then LSU puts the hammer, the foot, the fist down on the neck of those Seminoles. You're not going to hear a lot of dun-dun-dun, but you are going to hear dun-dun-dun-dun.
Hey, hey, hey.
Goodbye. They will be leaving early in the fourth quarter. LSU 34, Florida State 16.
You're here first. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, bud.
Good stuff, man.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
Mike Scarborough, always a great time with Mike.
You know, everybody always thinks that, look, well, naturally you guys are going to pick LSU. They're playing Florida State. But let's talk a few things before we go to break here.
Certainly.
Brian Kelly, as the coach of his teams, has won 40 of the last 41 games as a favorite. They have won 54-9 in the last 5 years at Notre Dame. And the teams that they've lost to have been the big boys, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, all of that. So we're not going to get into tonight on whether he can win a national championship or whether he can compete with Saban in the SEC. This is a week-to-week thing, just like the coaches say. 1 week at a time, one play at a time. I just think, JP, when you have a structure that puts pressure on these guys to play fast and smart and organized, and more so than anything, the me is out of the window for the we. And oh, by the way, we are family over here at Tigers Roar. And I want you to tell them about the great barbecue that they can enjoy each and every day.
That's right. Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Very convenient to Airline Highway, right down the street. Great place to get barbecue. Great deals for lunch. Come check out the barbecue pulled pork sandwich. They call it the Boss Hog. Under $8, you get 2 sides and a drink. The sandwich is about this big. It's incredible. Come check it out. Old School Barbecue at 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It's where we shoot most of our shows here at the Pelican, which you can catch all those shows on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. One more break for this episode of Tigers Roar. We'll get it done. We'll come back, talk some NFL, some New Orleans Saints. We have some highlights from the Saints' Week 3 preseason game against the Chargers in the Superdome. Don't go anywhere. We're talking Saints when we get back. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, It starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. LSU will take on Florida State Seminoles in the New Orleans area, Caesars Superdome this Sunday. The Saints will not be in the Superdome Sunday. This is that weird open week. They changed the preseason this year. Only 3 preseason games per team. They had that open week to whittle your team down to 53-man roster. That had to happen today as we tape here on Tuesday, August the 30th. New head coach Dennis Allen looks to lead his team against the NFC South. The first 3 games of the season starting with those Dirty Birds in Atlanta. But first they had to take care of their 3rd preseason game against the Los Angeles Chargers. You know, the Saints had some ties with the Chargers in the past. They had a quarterback that used to play in San Diego back in the day, came to New Orleans, and he was pretty successful. But anyway, new time, new team, new era for the New Orleans Saints, the Jameis Winston era. He will start at quarterback, but a very serviceable backup. Tell you what, in the preseason game against the Chargers, both Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton were perfect. Combined 9 for 9 on the day. If you didn't know, Andy Dalton was perfect for the whole preseason.
Yeah.
That's impressive. We do have some highlights for that Chargers game. We'll ask the truck to go ahead and roll those as we continue the conversation about the New Orleans Saints. Bud, man, Mark Ingram, wearing number 5 this season, was able to get into the end zone twice. With Alvin Kamara still kind of up in the air, not certain if he'll be disciplined this year or next year. With the whole thing that happened before the Pro Bowl in Vegas, it's good to see Mark Ingram with some pop still in those legs, scoring twice in the preseason.
By the way, if you are looking, that is the Superdome, and this is a brand new turf. This was the first game that was played on it. LSU will play on it on Sunday, and there's Jarvis Landry doing what he's going to do all year long with the Saints, catching the ball and making a first down. And as you said, here's Mark Ingram, and he didn't want to go down, JP.
No, he set himself up for the touchdown. You see Trevor Penning right there, number 70, a little bit gimpy early in this game. He did get rolled up by the tight end, Juwan Johnson. Here's the touchdown by Ingram. And you'll see him go down right there. Gets hit in the leg, pops up, kind of like nothing really happened. You see 70 in the corner right there, but unfortunately, he did tear a ligament in his foot. He is going to miss significant time. The first-round draft pick for the Saints, Trevor Penning, he's going to miss some time for the Saints.
There's my favorite newcomer to the Saints, Chris Olave, number 12. If you picked him in fantasy football, you've got to steal.
I'll tell you what, number 80 did a great job finding spots in that zone in this preseason game. He's going to add a huge element to that wide receiver room.
Don't you love it? You can tell. Now, look, the Superdome turf needed to be refurbished, and I don't know. I didn't see this thing close enough. Do they still have the divots? And the little pedals.
No, it looked really nice, bud, man.
It looks
looked really
brand
nice.
spanking new. It looks really good. And as you alluded to, Andy Dalton, perfect in the preseason. Jameis Winston, can they keep him healthy? Can they keep him standing upright?
Andy Dalton, 5 for 5 for 73 yards. Didn't get a touchdown. Got it real close. Here's the second touchdown for Mark Ingram. That one was easy. 2 touchdowns for the former Heisman winner out of Alabama.
And as we know, folks, we have not heard anything on Alvin Kamara and his punishment situation with Deshaun Watson. I didn't have the heart to bring the Roger Goodell red nose in here today as one of our props, but lo and behold, we'll see. He did not like what they doled out to that quarterback in Cleveland. I'm starting to believe what Schefter said, Adam Schefter. I think that, maybe Kamara will get off scot-free and do some community work. Who knows? But I think at this point, it would be a travesty if they did sit him down. They should have done this earlier if they were going to do that to him.
As we sit here watching the Saints defense in action, of course, there was big news today as the team tried to whittle their roster down to 53. There was a big trade in the NFL involving the Saints. Number 22, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, a very bright young player for the Saints, has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a bag of old footballs. I mean, come on, a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick? But, man, for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the guy wanted too much money in the offseason. He kind of had an unconventional way of expressing his displeasure with the franchise. Was kind of like a hold-in, they were calling it, because he showed up to camp, but kind of was selective with his participation in the drills. It was a weird situation. Talks broke down, and it quickly went from trying to re-sign this guy to trying to get something in a trade for him.
Well, look, this is one of those deals where they brought in a player, and they thought Alontae Taylor, Alontae Taylor has done a great job. You got the Honey Badger back over there, so you should have a lot of communication. But one thing about it, man, Chauncey, you want him in an alley. You want him in a football fight. He was a tough, nasty, spicy type of player. And he's going to go right in there and start for Philadelphia.
Yep, Philadelphia certainly got a good one in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Look, he was one of the best in the slot in the NFL, causing turnovers, guarding the tight end, stopping the run, blitzing the quarterback. He could really do it all. It's sad to see him go from the Saints. They could have really used him. But you mentioned that safety position, how deep they are. You got Tyrann Mathieu. You got Marcus Smith. You got P.J. Williams. Those guys are veterans, okay? Then you bring in Alontae Taylor. You got Justin Evans, who made the team. Had a great preseason game, number 3 for the Saints. He plays a safety. Alontae Taylor, we talked about the rookie out of Tennessee. A lot of talent in that safety room. So, 22 C.D. Deuce is no longer with the Saints, but hopefully the organization is able to turn those couple of draft picks into something positive.
Hey, got to ask you, because obviously you had an affinity for Coach Payton and what he did in his tenure. Dennis Allen, I know you really can't tell from the preseason stuff, but what kind of coach is he going to be? Is he going to be aggressive? Look, we know defensively that's his bread and butter, but what kind of offensive brain trust and mindset do they have, as you see Ian Book, a poor man's NFL quarterback who won 30-something games with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame the last 3 years. He's the third guy, but what kind of offense do you think this team's going to have, and can they defeat the Tampa Bay Bucs for the NFC South?
So in my opinion, the Saints' best offense is going to be that dominant defense. They're going to keep teams off the scoreboard. That's what Dennis Allen's really going to hang his hat on. Elite defense across the line. The defensive line stacked with studs between Peyton Turner, Matt Marcus Davenport, Cameron Jordan, Shai Tuttle, the young guy, David Omanyata, players that really can contribute in a football game across that front of the line. Then you got Demario Davis and young Pete Warner. That's a very good linebacking core. You talk about the back end with Marshawn Lattimore, Courtney Roby, and then Bradley Roby. Then you got the Honey Badger.
Paulson Adebo.
Paulson Adebo had a great rookie year last year out of Stanford. He's going to contribute, obviously, again this season. So I think that this is going to be a smash-mouth team. They're going to try to run the ball, set up that play action. But look, everybody kind of credited Sean Payton with being this quarterback guru, offensive play calling master, and he was. I mean, an offensive genius. But you know who was there right there with him that entire time? That was Pete Carmichael, and he's still on the team. He's going to be calling the plays this year. So you get Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael, those same kind of continuity guys that have been in the locker room this entire time. This is not a rebuild for the New Orleans Saints. On paper, they're one of the top 3 rosters in the NFL. Hopefully they can put it all together early in the season. I know, but man, you were kind of critical of my man Sean Payton, especially early in the season when the Saints would kind of stumble out the gates and not really be ready to play until week 3 or 4. I do not expect that to be the case with Dennis Allen.
Well, I think Brian Kelly got stale at Notre Dame. I think Sean Payton got stale in New Orleans. And his wife, he got married, and I think his wife, it's known that his wife wanted to move out of New Orleans.
Texas.
There have been serious overtures that Jerry Jones, when he fires that guy, McCarthy over there, is going to talk to Sean Payton, and he's going to be coaching football in the very near future. That being said, look, everybody's got a new leaf. Eric Dooley, Southern fans are excited as a pig in slop. Brian Kelly, I'm getting a lot of, well, I'm kind of getting nervous. I don't know what they're going to bring to the table. Listen, folks, we've been following them for 35 years. We've been out to practice a bunch. This is going to be a team that you are proud of. Are they going to be a finished product week 1? No. All they've got to do is be good enough to take care of Florida State in week 1. You take care of business against Southern, and then you get ready for a litmus test that's going to determine if you can have a good or potentially great season with Mississippi State. And as you alluded to with the Saints, I like Dennis Allen, and if he can be, it'll be tough. But Carmichael, you know, he's got to feel like this is his opportunity now to show everybody how good a play caller he is.
Well, he has a significant professional advantage of seeing how Sean Payton would tailor a game plan around who he had on the field. You go through all the quarterbacks the Saints had to stick out there last season. It was not pretty. Okay, yes, Sean Payton had Drew Brees for a long time. Drew Brees is one of the best to ever do it. But last season, that was not the case. Okay, you had Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, Ian Book. The list goes on. I mean, a record number of players had to start last season for the Saints. This is not going to be the case for the Saints this season. God willing, they avoid the injury bug that much. But defense is what they're going to hang their hat on in New Orleans. It's going to be a culture change. I mean, they're not going to – well, and who knows? I mean, Jameis Winston is like, there's a list, okay, going back to like the 80s of first 5 seasons in the league, how many pass yards. I think Jameis Winston is like second on the list in front of Dan Marino. So this kid has talent, and he's got a lot of talent around him. So the Saints could go back to putting up 40 a game, but I don't think they'll have to, Bud, man.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have to.
Well, speaking of that, I got to ask you, the 9-8 last year, what are you expecting this year? 17 games again.
Yes.
I like the fact that the 3 preseason games, I like the fact that there was a week. And that means, folks, nobody is going to have a ball game Sunday night. LSU will have the whole country watching. You just saw the new green turf. It's going to look great. LSU is going to look fast. We talked about LSU. Give me your scenario on how you think the Saints season plays
This might be overly optimistic, Bud, man, but I had the Saints right now going 12-5.
Whoa!
Losing 1 game in the division to the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. I think they handle business in the Caesars Superdome. But, yeah, they continue to dominate the NFC South. The Bucs, I think they're just due. Tom Brady's due for 4-1 against 1-4, against the Saints. That guy is still, they call him the GOAT for a reason. So Bucs have a lot of talent. That's going to be the one slip up, I think, in the division the Saints have. But, yeah, 12-5, pretty good Dennis Allen first season. What about you, Bud, man?
Well, I was thinking in between 10 or 11, so I'll let you go out on the limb with the 12.
I'll live on it.
Here's the bottom line, folks. It's here. It's like a religion. All you ladies out there, don't forget, if LSU takes care of business Sunday night in the Superdome, grab that credit card, go to your favorite shopping. This could be a game where you get a new outfit. 34-16. The old man's going to be happy come 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Get on over to the mall or a town center or whatever, because he's not going to care what you spend on Monday after he sees his Tigers perform in the Superdome Sunday night.
It's game week. Enjoy it, Tiger Nation. Sunday, LSU, FSU, week 1. We appreciate you watching Tigers Roar. We'll see you next time.